Recording. All right, guys, welcome to the final score. It is Wednesday, July 21st. We are what? I think people actually reported it. I know the Steelers reported today. We're like 2 weeks away.
10 days away from the Washington training camp. No, 10 days away from the Washington training camp.
What about, we played the Hall of Fame game like August the 5th, is it?
That's quick then. 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. I might have to look at that.
Yeah, I think Steelers reported today. The
Yeah, they
Steelers
did.
started today. I saw Ben Roethlisberger on practice.
Because
he had a shirt that said different.
Big news coming out of Steelers camp already. With us for 8 years at linebacker. We just re-signed him. We had cut him and re-signed him, but he decided to call it a day and retire. Longtime Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Vince Williams retires after 8 seasons in the NFL, and all 8 the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kind of wondering if there was an injury because we signed him for depth, and I don't know what happened. It hadn't really come out. He just informed them that he would not be coming back to camp. He was released in March in a cap-related move, but then the following month they re-signed him after he turned down offers from other teams. So it doesn't look like it's a squabble or disagreement with the Steelers organization. It looks like he was just ready to call it a day. He was expected to battle with Robert Spillane for the right to start alongside Devin Bush. Now with him gone, we have Ulysses Gilbert and Marcus Allen or step up. I've heard of Marcus Allen, and we're not talking about the guy that beat the Redskins by himself in the Super Bowl that year, but this is another guy. Williams totaled 444 tackles, 20.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions in 121 regular season games, which he started 69 of them. He was a 6th-round draft pick that turned into an 8-year career. That's pretty good for a 6th-round draft pick. But, yeah. So Pittsburgh loses another linebacker, so we'll see how we do there. We also signed another guy this week, Melvin Ingram III, who was with the Chargers last year, was signed by Pittsburgh this year to try to give us a little depth on the edge. So we need depth in the middle now. But in case you missed it, we're the final score. We just hop right in there. We're the final score. It's division preview time. We just did AFC and NFC South last week. We're going to do the AFC and NFC West this week, which I think the NFC West is going to be anybody can win now. I mean, everybody's high.
It's also, I think, it's the best division top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you could put any of these guys, I could see somebody picking first, and then any of them I could see somebody picking fourth. And I wouldn't say, okay, that's not hard to believe. I think it's going to be the best, I would say it's going to be the most exciting league to watch because they're going to all be log jammed together. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but big news coming out of Rams camp. Cam Akers tore his Achilles working out. He's out for the year. So that kind of puts a dent in the Rams' plans for this year. Matthew Stafford just can't catch a break when he thinks everything is just like, oh, I got this. And now Cam Akers out for the year. So it looks like it's going to fall on, and they've got Hamilton as the backup, which he did okay. But is he a feature back? And can he carry the load? We'll see this year.
Well, Gurley's still unsigned.
No,
you can go get Gurley. You go get Peterson.
Look it up. I think Gurley signed with the Ravens. Look it up and tell me if I'm wrong.
I see where he worked out with the Ravens.
Okay, I thought I saw yesterday that he signed with the Ravens, but maybe I was wrong.
From yesterday, it says, is Todd Gurley going to return? Todd Gurley to Rams, a non-starter. Could the Rams go after Adrian Peterson or Tom? Yeah. I'm at Pro Football Reference. Says he's a free agent.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay. He worked out with the
He
Ravens.
visited Baltimore.
Oh, look, USA Today.
So, yeah.
USA Today has free agent Todd Gurley signs with Ravens. That was from 2 days ago.
Wow.
But let me see.
I can't find that anywhere else.
Now it says page not found. So maybe they maybe
Yeah.
they jumped the gun.
It says the Ravens were predicted to sign Justin Houston and Todd Gurley, but they didn't. From what I can tell, he's still a free agent.
Okay. Yeah, that may be why they took the page down, because it sure says it on USA Today.
Well, they can get him back. I mean, he's been there before. Bring him back, or bring in Adrian Peterson, the ageless wonder. Him and Tom Brady going to play forever.
Well, they're definitely going to need something, and I don't think that it'll be somebody to start, but somebody to split time with Hamilton. But also, Richard Sherman, speaking of free agents, went a little off the deep end last week. At first, and this kind of concerns me, because we were talking before we started recording. He did this so uncharacteristically. What happened? I mean, he wrecked his car, drove it off the freeway, and left it. Just left it there. And they found it, ran the registration, it come back to him. Then his wife makes a 911 call. He's trying to get physical with her uncle, and he's trying to break in the house. He's saying he's going to kill himself. He's going to hang himself and all this. And then, that happened, and he was arrested. But then the video came out of him trying to break into that house. It was his in-laws' house, I believe. And Lynn just watched that for the first time before we started recording. Something's not right with Richard.
He was intense. He's watched some movies. He was throwing himself in the door with his shoulder. It wasn't budging. It was weird to see. Yeah,
and you kind of worry about that. I don't know if anything's come up about CTE, but this will be early stages. This will be really early for him. I don't know what his concussion history is over his career, but somebody doing stuff uncharacteristically like that, especially an athlete, makes you think, could this be CTE creeping up? And his wife was like, and when he went before the judge, he was released because he had no record. I mean, there's nothing else on there about Richard Sherman that he's done this before. So hopefully everything will be all right with him. He'll get some help, whatever he needs to get. Will he play? I don't know if he'll play again or not. He's a free agent. There was still a lot of talk about him signing with some teams, but you never know. Somebody would need him, but wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he'll get help and get himself straight. All right.
Yep.
We're going to talk about AFC and NFC West, and one of the teams.
Which conference first? Which conference?
Before we start, 49ers have signed All-Pro linebacker Fred Warner to a 5-year extension worth $95 million, including $40.5 million guarantee, and that would make him the highest paid linebacker in NFL history. I mean,
I'm happy for him.
This is not a guy whose name really stands out to me. He's put up great numbers. I'm looking at his numbers. He's put up great numbers, but it's not somebody that really stands out. I mean, when I'm talking about linebackers, I don't say, yeah, Fred Warner, man, he's awesome. You know, I was kind of taken back, like, had they signed Kurt Warner, because it just said 49ers make Warner highest paid. And I was like, somebody signed Kurt Warner? So anyway, with Garoppolo there, you kind of wonder. But yeah, so Fred Warner, highest paid linebacker in NFL history. So,
how about real quick before we go to the predictions? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to play for Green Bay this year after he turned down the contract that make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
You know, last week when we were talking about this, I was pretty positive. I said, yeah, he'll play. He'll play. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, if you offer, what does he want? I mean, is he really that upset with Green Bay?
He wants out.
Yeah, evidently. I mean,
He's got the money. Money's not an issue.
I don't think he's going to play in Green Bay. I really don't. If he turned down that kind of money and a 2-year extension, they have majorly kicked him off. And he's, you know.
Come to Washington. Come to Washington.
I think John Elway.
Vince Lombardi did it. Vince Lombardi did Green Bay, and then Vince Lombardi came to Washington. Let's do the same thing with Rodgers.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Broncos are pretty interested in him, so they can have another starting quarterback to have. It's like a quarterback carousel in Denver. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Let's start off the Super Bowl again with him.
Let's see. We're going to do. My stuff's kind of messed up here. We're going to do NFC West. Let's go NFC West first on our predictions. So we've got Arizona.
Best division top to bottom.
Yeah, I think it's just like we were talking about before we started recording. I said we could be totally different on the picks. Like I could have one at fourth and you could have one at the same team at first. And I would say, well, I can totally see that. This isn't one of those clear-cut divisions like some of the other ones are, like we talked about last week. But you got Arizona, you've got the LA Rams, you've got the Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, you could flip-flop so many of these guys. And yeah, I'm just going to come out here and say my number 4 and see if you agree. I'm sure we won't agree like we did last week on a lot of these. My number 4.
We might.
My number 4 is going to be the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just not. I know their defense is good. Bosa will be back. They lost a lot. We talked about Fred Warner. Defense is good. But how much faith do you put in Jimmy Garoppolo? How short of a leash is he going to be with Trey Lance sitting there behind him? I mean, he's already rumored to be traded the whole offseason. How much, really, how much do you think that he's going to, when he messes up, it's going to be over? Kyle Shanahan's going to have.
Oh, they got Fred Warner signed for 5 years now. So now that Fred Warner is signed for 5 more years, they're going places. That was a joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about it. You've got a rookie quarterback who, second pick in the draft? You got a rookie quarterback sitting there waiting in the wings. You got a good defense. Garoppolo can't stay on the field. And I'm looking at, you got Kittle. Last year they were 6-10, but it was an injury-riddled season. Coming off that, this is one of those teams, kind of like the Atlanta Falcons when they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They went down the year after the Super Bowl, and they went down quick. I mean, it was an ugly year for them. But, Bosa was out. There were several of their key guys on defense went out last year. Now, losses, I'm looking at the losses here. Tevin Coleman, running back. C.J. Beathard, the backup quarterback. Richard Sherman, who we talked about earlier, Solomon Thomas, which is a big loss to them, but they picked up some guys. Ecubomb from the Rams. Other than that, really Alex Mack from Atlanta at center. But I don't see enough here to really to put them over the top, over these other three teams. I don't see where Garoppolo, just like John Lynch said, we can't keep you on the field. I mean, he told him that. I just don't – I'm sorry, San Francisco fan. I don't see enough on that defense that's going to make up for – unless Trey Lance just steps in there and sets the league on fire. I just don't see it. I'm thinking, you might see like a 7-10 year or 6-11 year for the 49ers.
Okay. So my number 4 is different. So this is going to be much more exciting, right? My number 4 are the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
So their key additions are J.J. Watt, A.J. Green. I don't think he's much of an addition, but he did come there.
Yeah.
And then last one I see here is Rocky Hudson, the center. But J.J. Watt's the biggest difference maker. They did lose Kenyon Drake, Patrick Peterson, and a tight end named Dan Arnold. I just think the other teams are better. And I have Arizona going, 8-9, 9-8. Let me make a pick here. 9-8, Arizona.
Yeah. I could.
So I got them 4.
Well, they're going to be my number 3. So we'll talk a little bit about them right here. You picked up, like you said, one of the names you forgot that they picked up was James Conner from the Steelers. So Kenyon Drake's gone, but can Conner? Yeah. That's another thing. We talked about Garoppolo. Can Conner stay on the field and stay healthy? I love the guy in Pittsburgh. I love his story. I love the way he played because he played hard when he was at it, but he just couldn't stay on the field or he'd still be in Pittsburgh right now. And we wouldn't have Najee Harris. So I think there's going to be an improvement in Arizona. I mean, they went 8-8 last year. You've got weapons on offense. I mean, you look, like you said, A.J. Green, how much gas does he have left in the tank? He's been injury prone over the last few years in Cincinnati. That's why he's in Arizona now. And what do you do with your wide receiver core? You got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Green, you got Christian Kirk. I mean, but one thing we're not talking about, what is Larry Fitzgerald doing? He has yet to make a decision.
He's got to retire eventually.
Yeah, I mean, he's yet to make the decision, but, I'm looking here. I want to look on the depth chart here and see if he's even listed there. He's not even listed. He's not listed on the roster at all.
Let me look. I'm going to search Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a free agent.
As of 4 hours ago, says he is still undecided about returning for 2021. He's going to wait till training camp is over and then show up and just play the season.
Well,
but for him, he doesn't need training camp. He doesn't need training camp.
He's earned that, he's earned that right where he can do that.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the feature. He wasn't last year, the feature wide receiver. It's down 54 catches, 409 yards, and 1 touchdown last year. So, but is J.J. Watt, how much does he have left in the tank?
I don't know. He's getting on up there too, but you got to score in this league. I don't think the best defense is going to do much anymore or having a good defense. This isn't the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll tell you this.
Back in the day.
A rookie to watch, Zabin Collins, who they drafted in the first round, the linebacker, came out of Tulsa. Yeah, watch out for this guy. I think he's going to be a good one. But yeah, they start off, who they've got first? At Tennessee, which that's going to be a good one to start off with. And looking at some of their games, who do they got? At Dallas. Do they play Washington this year? No. No Washington football team this year. But I'm looking, they went 8-8 last year. I'm thinking 9-8 this year. And like you said, like we say about this league or this division, it could be flip-flop. I think it's going to be division champions is going to be down between three teams up until the last 2 weeks, I think. It's just going to be that close. But if their defense can step up and Murray can get shake out, he can have a good year, not make mistakes, they'll be a little bit better, I think. We'll see how that goes. But I'm saying 9-8 right now. So who's your number 3?
My number 3 is San Francisco. We talked a lot about him. One person you didn't talk about is running back Trey Sermon. I think by the second half of the year, he's going to be their starting running back, Trey Sermon, 49ers. And I also have them at 9-8. So I have no one in this division under 500. Arizona was 9-8. San Francisco is going to be 9-8, but went on tiebreakers or whatever.
All right.
All right. Now 2-1.
2-1?
You're going to do your 2?
Oh, my 2? Yeah. Number 2 for me is the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
And, you don't want to count out Russell Wilson, but there was so much. I mean, yeah, we had this talk a couple of years ago. Remember that, Lynn? Oh, Russell Wilson can't do it. He can't do it.
Yeah, well, now I'm on the Russell Wilson train now because, I don't have them number 2.
Oh, Russell Wilson, though, with all the talk, he was like talking about being moved out of Seattle at one time. Here's what worries me about Seattle. He talked about his
well, it was just all talk.
He talked about his offensive line. He wanted to have more time to do this, do that. He didn't have time to do it. That, I was an offensive lineman in high school, and I know that would offend me in high school if somebody said, "Hey, I'm working my butt off out there for you." So, maybe he needs to go buy his offensive line some Rolexes or something like that. He's definitely got the money to do it, or cars. Or
those Isotona gloves.
No, this isn't Dan Marino. This isn't Ace Ventura with Dan Marino doing the Isotona glove commercial. But yeah, you still, with Russell Wilson back there at quarterback, you still have a shot. Because that guy, I mean, he's done it so many years, and so many people didn't give him a chance to do it. 4,212 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Now, and that was just, he slumped near the last half of the year. The way he started off the first of the year,
he did.
He was the MVP. But, you got DK Metcalf on offense. You got Chris Carson coming back, Tyler Lockett, and then you add Dwayne Eskridge from Western Michigan, another receiver that's got a good upside to him. Defense is going to be kind of different this year. You still got Bobby Wagner leading the way, and Jamal Adams is back. That's going to be the thing. Defense was kind of sketchy for them last year too. This isn't the Legion of Boom anymore. They're long gone. So they're going to have to redefine that defense, and maybe they can. They lose some people. Lost Shaq Griffin is gone. Carlos Hyde left. He was there for a few minutes. Philip Dorsett's gone, but no real big losses there. I think they're going to do better than what most of these publications think. I think second is realistic. I think they could win the division. It's that tight. Just like we said, this division is going to be that tight. But I've got them at number 2 right now. I think I've got them going 10-7.
So I have the LA Rams in the second place. I have them going 10-7. Their big additions are, Matthew Stafford's coming in,
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson. They did lose Jared Goff. They shipped him off to the city that never wins, Detroit. They lost Blake Bortles. Oh my gosh.
Now,
That's a
they're not
addition
going to
by
the Super Bowl
subtraction.
if they lost
But-
Blake Bortles.
I know, but they also lost Cam Akers. So we can't forget Cam Akers now is lost from the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm on the Russell Wilson hype train now. I was off of it. I was saying he was over and done. He proved me wrong. So that's why I have the LA Rams second. And everything you talked about Seattle, I have Seattle first, and I have them 11-6.
Okay.
So your number one.
My number one is the LA Rams. We just talked about them. So, but I'm looking at Cam Akers' numbers and Darrell Henderson's numbers. Now, you talk about running back by committee. And I also throw Malcolm Brown in there. Look, all of these guys each had over 100 rushes. Of course, Akers had 145. He rushed for 625 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, Henderson, maybe not much of a drop-off as we think. Henderson had 138 carries and just 1 less yard at 624. He had 5 touchdowns. So, maybe they will be all right. I think I'm hoping with Matthew Stafford, this guy took such a beating in Detroit and never had the teams that could really compete. Maybe a couple of years they could compete. But you want to see this guy because he's a good guy. He's been through a lot. Wife I think she had cancer. If I'm wrong, I may be wrong, but I think she's okay now. But, you want to see this guy do good, get a shot. He's one of the good – he's put up great numbers over the years, and I'd like to see him get a shot. Cooper Kupp is probably one of my favorite players that's not a Steeler. So
And a great name.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. I'm looking at the numbers on these, because the numbers change where they can wear single-digit numbers. Now, get this. Here's your wide receiver core. Cooper Kupp's wearing number 10. Robert Woods is wearing number 2. And Deshaun Jackson is wearing number 1. So
Oh my God.
it's gonna be different. But
It's going like college out there.
Yeah. I've got them winning division going 11-6, and maybe they can do something in the playoffs. We'll see. But we differed on just about, I think every pick we differed on this week. Unlike last week. Last week everybody was just about the same. So
I think AFC West, we're going to have the same winner in AFC West.
yeah.
I
know who you picked. That's for sure.
It's
I'd
a
hate-
short limb. Don't pick Gold Jacket. It's up to you.
I'd hate to see if he played for Washington, how much of a fanboy you would be for him. Good Lord. That whole background.
I'm a huge Mahomes fanboy.
That whole background would be a
I
big
think he
picture of
is-
his face. That would be your background back there.
Yep.
Jeez.
I think he is the face of the future of the NFL. He's really good.
What
You
happened
must
to him?
not like him at all.
I do like him, but what happened to him in the Super Bowl?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it won't Tom Brady.
It was not Patrick Mahomes' fault when they lost.
It won't Tom
Mahomes
Brady.
was running for his life, making great passes, and the wide receivers couldn't catch anything.
It won't Tom
It was
Brady.
not
that-
on Mahomes for the Super Bowl.
Won't Tom Brady that was chasing him down
Yeah.
every play.
But
either.
Mahomes did not lose the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Anyway, we'll talk
All
about
right,
that.
so-
later. I'll talk about that when I get to them.
Number 4.
Yeah, you go ahead with your number 4.
Number 4, number 4 is the Las Vegas Raiders. They play in one of the greatest cities in America. Love the place. They have the highest ticket prices out of all 32 teams. Because everyone wants to go see their team play in Vegas as an excuse, because you can go and gamble and then watch your team.
I want to go to Vegas.
So let's see. They've added Kenyon Drake, wide receiver John Brown. Can't pronounce this edge rusher. Yannick Naga. I don't know who he is. They re-signed Marcus Mariota, who may see the field if Derek Carr keeps sucking. They lost Nelson Aguilar. But it says key departure, Nelson Aguilar,
No,
wide receiver.
I was listening to you talk about how Carr sucked.
Oh, well, anyway, I have them going 6-11. I don't think they're that good. So who do you have number 4?
We're not going to agree on this stuff. I've got Denver Broncos.
That's good.
Denver Broncos. I don't see
Anybody but Kansas City is fine. If you pick Kansas City, we know we need to call help or something.
the final score will end after tonight if I pick Kansas City to go last.
Oh my God.
So yeah, Denver.
All right, what you got? You said you got Denver?
Yeah, Denver. Here's the thing. Who's going to play quarterback? Who's the quarterback on the carousel this year? Drew Lock was the last couple of years. There, he was supposed to be the savior. He was going to be the big thing. But no, now they bring in Teddy Bridgewater from Carolina. Do you realize how many quarterbacks has Denver had, starting quarterbacks has Denver had since Peyton Manning retired?
8.
Wrong.
I don't even know when he retired.
He retired
Wait a minute. They had that one game where they had to start a running back, right?
because of COVID last year. Because
they all had COVID. They played the running back.
He was from Wake Forest. He played running back at Wake Forest, or he played quarterback at Wake Forest, and then they had him at running back on the practice squad, and they brought him in.
I wish they'd have just forfeited instead of played that game. That was brutal to watch.
Tell me this. We asked this question last year. Why didn't they postpone that game?
Because it was Denver and not Baltimore.
Bingo. Anyway, that's a different subject for a different day. I think we've already done that. But yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, it's been 10 starting quarterbacks since Peyton Manning retired. And that,
that's a lot.
Only 2 had a winning record. And get this, Trevor Seaman and Brett Rippon were the 2 that had a winning record.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Who's going to be the quarterback? I mean, because
Teddy Bridgewater.
You think of a Lock?
Yep. I don't think it's Lock.
How many times is it going to switch?
I'd rather have Bridgewater play.
Here's what we can do. We've got the Jameis Winston turnover tracker. How many quarterbacks will John Elway use this year? The John Elway quarterback carousel. How many quarterbacks will be on that carousel? You think 2? Okay. Let's look at the quarterback.
Lock and Bridgewater. Just Lock and Bridgewater.
Brett Rippon's on the roster now, and he's had a winning record there. Whether it's 1-0 or I don't know.
Who's the answer?
John Elway is so fickle over quarterbacks, and there's not going to be many quarterbacks as good as John Elway. Well, no matter what I think of him as a person, there's not going to be many quarterbacks like
he was
John.
good.
I mean, he's going. He had Peyton Manning there. He got spoiled a little bit with that. Brock Osweiler, you remember him? He was supposed to be the next big thing, but that didn't pan out. So yeah, who's quarterback? That's my answer. Last year they were 5-11. Now they lose Philip Lindsay, one of the running backs, a local guy that was a local favorite. He went to school at Colorado, did a great job there. But, you brought in – here's the thing with Philip Lindsay. You brought in Melvin Gordon from the Chargers, and he said he was going to lead the league in rushing, and you started giving the ball to Gordon instead of Lindsay. And Gordon said he felt like, I was hated in the locker room because I was taking carries away from Lindsey. And I was hated by the fans because I was taking carries away. So what do you do?
It's not his fault.
No,
It's not his fault. It's the coach's fault.
But, and here's another question. The biggest thing they have going for them in Denver, the defense. Von Miller was out last year. Does he come back from that injury he had last year? You got Chubb on the other side, which they've got a great defense. They picked up Darby from Washington at safety. They picked up Kyle Fuller from Chicago at cornerback. They drafted Patrick Surtain the second. So they're building the defense up again. But you should have drafted a quarterback. I'm surprised they did. Let me see if they did draft a quarterback in this. No, he didn't.
No, but they did. You forgot their best draft pick. Their best draft pick was Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Where does he go to school at?
He is. I'm not biased. Their best draft pick was Javonte Williams.
Where did he go to school at?
I can't remember, man. I'm not. It doesn't matter what college he went to.
Yeah, he's a guy from Carolina. Is a better draft pick than the pick.
Oh, really?
Before
man,
him,
I didn't know that.
The guy before him that was from Alabama. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, Patrick Surtain's going to be awesome. He's going to be really good. He'll be there much longer than any running back.
Yeah, they lead off.
Linemen can play forever.
Lineman? He's not a lineman, dude. He's a cornerback.
It says OG Patrick Surtain.
He's a cornerback.
Oh my God! It says OG Patrick Surtain second.
Somebody's got
He'll still play longer than a running back.
Yeah, he's a cornerback.
My information is wrong.
We're gonna have to fire you. It's gonna be a cut in your pay.
I know.
Anyway,
so you have Denver 4.
Yeah, I've got them.
Right.
I've got them going 4-13.
Okay, I have Denver going 3rd, and all the good things you said about them, I have them going 8-9.
That's a big difference.
And only playing 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. I've got.
So who do you have as your 3rd?
I've got your number 4 at my number 3. I've got the Raiders.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. These guys have, you talked about Derek Carr sucking. All right, let's look at his numbers. 4,103 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. I don't think that was sucking. I think that was a big improvement of what he did the year before.
Did they beat Kansas City?
Yeah,
Didn't they beat the Chiefs once last year?
They did beat them, and almost beat them a second time. They beat them.
They should have beat them. Yeah, they should have beat them twice.
40-32 the first time they won, and then they lost 35-31. So, and then
they could have swept them.
You've got a great tight end there. Darren Waller made a big difference. Almost 1,200 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. 13 new players between free agency and the draft on defense. And 4 of them should be starters. Now, again, we talk about Derek Carr.
That can be good or bad.
Well, I mean, it can be worse, I guess. But Derek Carr, 3 straight 4,000-yard passing seasons. And last year, they went 8-8, but they started, I didn't realize this either. They started 6-3 and just fell apart the second half of the year to go to 8-8. Some of the pickups, like you talked about earlier, one of them you didn't talk about, Willie Snead from the Ravens, who I think will make a difference at wide receiver. Not really losing that much. They lost Aguilar, like you said, to New England. Trent Brown went to New England as well. They drafted an offensive lineman to try to protect Carr a little bit more. Alex Leatherwood, who was the offensive tackle. The defense. Now you got to think about this with the defense. They've got. Look who they're going up against. 2 of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Of course, Lynn's obsession, his boy toy, his crush, Patrick Mahomes, and then Justin Herbert, who is coming off one of the greatest rookie years in football as a quarterback. So that defense has got to step up and be able to compete with these two guys. And maybe that, getting those guys, 14 guys or 13 guys and 4 starters, hopefully on defense, maybe they're trying to shore it up and compete. I've got them going 9-8, but I think they're number 3.
All right, so number 2, I have the team with the best alternate uniforms ever, the powder blue. That is like my favorite uniform. So I have Los Angeles Chargers, number 2. Let's see some key additions here. Jared Cook.
Yeah.
The other are 2 linemen, I see. They lost Hunter Henry, though. They lost Tyrod Taylor, Rashawn Jenkins, and they picked up in the draft Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So anyway, I think they're going to do really well, and I have them go. They have Austin Eckler for sure, and then their quarterback. Who is it? Herbert.
You really are asking me who?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah. You got better memory than I do. So Justin Herbert, and I have them going 10-7.
Okay, we're going to agree here on the final 2. The final 2 we're going to agree on. Chargers have an upside.
I'm not shocked by that.
Yeah, Chargers have a big upside now with Herbert, but can he avoid the sophomore slump? That's the thing. This guy had 4,336 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Great numbers for a rookie quarterback. You don't see that out of a rookie quarterback that much. They've got a new head coach. Brandon Staley takes over. Last year they were 7-9. You talked about Hunter Henry leaving, but Jared Cook comes in and fills that spot right away. So that's but do they have the firepower to compete with the Chiefs on both sides of the ball? I mean, you think about this. Now, before you say that, the first start of Justin Herbert's career was Kansas City and had him on the ropes, lost in overtime by 3. Now, they played him again and beat them the last game of the year, which, Kansas City probably didn't use much of the stars. Mahomes probably didn't play. They beat them 38-21 then. You better watch out for the Chargers. They lead off with your boys. They lead off with the Washington football team, or the Redskins, which I like to call. So I think this is a team you better watch out.
They're going to start 1-0.
I don't know about that, but I'm just saying you better watch out for these guys. This is going to be an up-and-coming team. Herbert, if he can avoid that sophomore slump, you got Eckler there who's coming on. I do think they need.
I like Eckler.
I think they need, another running back to help him out. Justin Jackson is listed on the depth chart as the second. He's a backup to him, but Eckler can do things out of the backfield. He can catch and run. But yeah, watch out for them. I got them going 11-6 this year.
All right.
I'll let you have.
We both agree on number 1, So Mr. Gold Jacket, who is definitely in the top 3 quarterbacks right now in the league. Like, I'm trying to think who he competes with. Aaron Rodgers, maybe. Who else would be in the top 3? I can't see what you're showing. Oh, look, I see him. I see him. So, like, Mahomes, Rodgers, and who would be the third? I don't want to put Brady. Lamar Jackson? I don't think so. Josh Allen. Josh Allen's good. I don't know who. Okay, anyway, Mahomes was a top 2 quarterback in the league. Might be number 1. Let's see who else. Sammy Watkins left. Damian Williams left. They drafted a linebacker, Nick Bolton. a lineman, a defensive end. Let's see, who'd they lose? Who'd they get this game? Jarek McKinnon from the 49ers have come over. Whatever. Anyway, I have them going 13-4.
All right.
Were you showing stuff and I wasn't looking?
No. I
Okay.
didn't show anything but your boy. I didn't want you to pass out from seeing Mahomes anymore. Here's the thing with the Chiefs. Super Bowl hangover. They
didn't win.
No, but can they recover from that beating they took?
What was the score?
I
It
don't
wasn't
think.
really close.
No, it wasn't close. 31-9.
Yeah, well, we all know who gave Tampa Bay the best game in the playoffs. So
Anyway,
anyway, keep going.
they were what? What was they at 14-2 last year. So they handled being the hunted as defending Super Bowl champions, but it's just as good as they did being the hunter. The offensive line was exposed. They picked up some people on the offensive line. One of the draft picks that's going to make a difference more than the first pick. I like the first pick. He's good. But the second round pick that's going to step in and help that offensive line, I wish Pittsburgh would have picked him up. Creed Humphrey, who was from Oklahoma, center. He's going to step right in and start. I think he's going to be good. They've got Kyle Long, and I want to say I think he got injured a couple of weeks ago. He came out of retirement to play for the Chiefs, but of course you're going to hate it because Le'Veon Bell is gone. I know that puts a big dent in the offense, but Le'Veon Bell is no longer there. But
He hates Andy Reid, doesn't he?
yes, he hates everybody that gave him a chance and he didn't play for. So
he should have never left Pittsburgh. Sitting out that 1 year was the dumbest decision ever.
Nope, he should have never left, but hindsight's 2020. They still got a lot of weapons on offense, even losing Watkins. Watkins went to the Ravens. They still got a lot of weapons. Of course, you got Gold Jacket there. And whenever he's in the game and healthy, hey, but give it to me. You got to give Chad Henne. Anything is possible when he pulled out the big win against Cleveland last year. Anything is possible. You got to give Henne.
Yeah, that was his one moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was pretty great for him. But yeah, when you got Gold Jacket there, I think they're going to win the division. Going to be some tough games. I think the games to watch are going to be the Chargers-Chiefs games this year, and the Raiders could give the Chiefs. They've already given the Chiefs a hard time last year. Should be interesting to watch. I've got them going 14-3. They lead off.
Wow, better than me.
They lead off with a playoff rematch with Cleveland. So that should be a great game first week. So,
but they play the NFC East, so there's 4 wins right there.
Okay.
I'm being serious.
They also play, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have Pittsburgh on the schedule again this year.
Well, there's 5 wins.
Okay. Where's their schedule? They don't even have their schedule up here.
I'll pull it. I have it. I had it up on the computer here.
Here it is. Yeah, they play the AFC North too. Because they Cleveland and then Baltimore, the first two. Listen to these first three games. Cleveland, Baltimore, and the Chargers, the first 3 games. And then Pittsburgh is.
They'll be 2-1 after that.
Pittsburgh is December 26th.
They'll lose one of those first 3.
Yeah. The day after.
Is it at Pittsburgh or at KC?
It's at KC. The day after Christmas, we're going to end it for Gold Jacket.
I think the Chiefs are going to win that one because it's at home.
I think they probably would have won it at
Stevie never
Nigeria.
picks against the Steelers. They go 16-0 every year
Exactly.
when he picks.
Exactly. So we
He'll be
differed a little.
17-0 this year.
We differed a little bit on these two. The
That
entire
was good.
the entire NFC West, we did not have anybody the same. So should be interesting there. And AFC West, we pretty much 1 and 2 was the same, 3 and 4 flip flop. So should be interesting to see how this turns out. Like I said, NFC West is going to be a tight division. Gotta add, while we're talking about the AFC West, this came across, and I posted this on Twitter, on the Final Score Twitter and Facebook. The Raiders president all of a sudden resigns just before the start of training camp. I mean, Mark Bedane resigned just before the start of training camp after helping orchestrate the team's move to Las Vegas. He's leaving the organization, and the executive vice president, general counsel Dan Ventrell will take over on an interim basis. This guy went from being a ball boy for the Raiders to a 30-year career with the organization. So what's going on there? I mean, why?
It's odd timing.
Yeah, the timing is just it doesn't fit.
Something happened. There's something about to come out or something.
I don't know if it's money or if he's sick or what, but you got to think it's something really going on for him to all of a sudden, right before training camp.
I think a skeleton's in the closet.
Oh, well, it could be. So that just come across kind of strange to me. I'm glad I got that out there. We have to talk about, before we get out of here, NBA Finals. Milwaukee Bucks for the first time in 50 years win the championship. Happy for Giannis that Giannis got one. It was funny listening to the people talk about. James Harden made a comment a couple of years ago. Oh, I wish I was 6'11" and could dunk. That takes a lot of talent. Well, guess what, Harden? Guess who's got
Harden said that.
Yes.
Wow. I like Harden, but that's a jerk thing.
I like Harden, but why would you say something like that?
It's a jerk comment.
Yeah. Guess what? Giannis has got a ring and an MVP, and you don't, Harden. I mean, you got the MVP one year, but
exactly.
Ring. So there was a poll on Twitter that asked, who would you rather have next year? It was 4 guys. Harden.
Oh, I voted in this.
You did? Harden, Giannis, LeBron,
I did vote.
Or Durant. Now, who did you vote for?
I put Giannis. I can't even say his name.
Giannis. Yeah, I voted for Giannis too.
I put him. Durant had too many injuries, and the other two, no. Giannis is the man right now.
But there's already talk. LeBron didn't waste any time. It's already talk about Chris Paul coming to be point guard for the Lakers next year. So what? Or Russell Westbrook.
I hate these super teams, man.
Didn't Giannis just prove you don't need one of those super teams to win a championship?
Yeah, I hate super teams. Hate it.
But you're going to be talking. They're going to be talking all about Brooklyn next year. They're going to be talking all about the Lakers next year.
Chris Paul tried to go to the Lakers once, and the
league,
the commissioner overruled it. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
But you think Brooklyn is going to be the team to beat?
Well, they're going to be talking about them next year for sure, because you think about this too. If Durant, his foot is like maybe 2 or 3 inches further back, Brooklyn beats Giannis in
yeah.
So, and
that's true.
You didn't have Harden, you didn't have Kyrie, and they were still in that series. So Brooklyn is definitely going to be a contender next year. No, I'm not a fan of the super teams either. I really am not. I think you need to build it, but you don't need to make. Oh, we're gonna all get together and do all this, and then you bring out. I mean, sometimes it works, but a lot of times it don't. Look at when Kobe had what? It was Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, what was it? Gary Payton.
Did they win that year?
No, they didn't win.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So, I mean, it doesn't always work, and it hasn't worked here lately. I mean, but of course, LeBron got his ring again last year, but I don't know. I'm
glad LeBron wasn't even in it. I'm glad he got beat the first round, didn't have to see his face, except in Space Jam 2.
Have you watched?
I haven't seen it, but I know he's in it.
No, I'm not going to watch it.
I never saw the first one. That had Michael Jordan in it.
You haven't watched the first one?
I'd rather watch the first one with Michael.
My God.
I've never seen it.
I've seen it hundreds of times. It's great. I just don't like the whole doing the sequel thing again this many years later and having to put LeBron in there. Just it's pretty much the same story.
It's a money grab.
Yeah, pretty much is. And kids will love it, of course, but not big on me. All right. So we can't go a whole show without talking about the True North hockey minute. There's something going on in hockey tonight. There's an expansion draft tonight.
I'm watching the expansion draft over your shoulder, and Carolina Hurricanes lost Morgan Geekie, the forward. He's really young. I thought he was an up and comer. They didn't protect him, so Seattle got a good one. Morgan Geekie, forward, Carolina.
What is Seattle's name? Like the Urchins or something?
Kraken.
Kraken.
The Kraken. I don't know if it's Kraken or Kraken. I say Kraken.
I think it's Kraken. I really think it's Kraken.
Kraken. So Ron Francis, the longtime Carolina Hurricanes guy, is their general manager. And he had drafted Morgan Geekie a few years ago when he was the general manager at Carolina. Got kicked out, and now he's picking the team for Seattle.
So that's why.
But the expansion draft is you pick one player from each team.
Yeah.
But each team could protect a certain number of people. So.
Yeah, and
going to be interesting.
So next week, let me look at my book. Who are we going to do next week?
We need to do NFC North and AFC East.
Okay. So is that going to be the last one before we do AFC North and NFC East, right? So, all right, so we're almost there.
Yep. NFC North, AFC East.
All right, so you guys heard it straight from Lynn Bryant, the president of the Patrick Mahomes Fan Club. Next week, NFC North, AFC East. So should be interesting with the AFC East. I think, Buffalo.
I already know who I'm picking as number one.
Oh, really? You don't think Cam?
I think it's a no-brainer who's going to win the AFC East. It's a no-brainer.
Well, it used to be a no-brainer for so many years, but now we're talking about somebody
different. It used to, but now it's a no-brainer with a different team.
So next week we'll do that. We'll talk about current news in the NFL, and maybe we'll have something to True North Vacation Hockey Minute again next week. We'll have some kind of update there. But before we go, we talk about Heinz ketchup all the time. And I got to share the shirt with you guys if you can see it. This was an old shirt, and this is true. I do put ketchup on my ketchup. I do that. I can
only if it's Heinz.
Heinz is the only one. Heinz is the only ketchup. Sorry, Hunt's. Sorry, Del Monte, or water and tomato.
They still make that, yeah.
I have
Heinz tastes the best.
Yeah. So, guys, we have started this with the Zoom. We're on YouTube now. Check out our YouTube channel. We had some hits on that. We had the Jim Wexel interview, the author of the Polamalu book. That got some good response there. We're still doing it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you don't want to look at our ugly mugs, for an hour. Just go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen there. But please, if you can, subscribe to our pages, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Apple, and give us a good review because that
And rate it.
us.
Rate
Yeah.
the Apple one.
Rate us because that gets us out there to more people. On the fly is going through some big stuff right now. We're working on we had a big interview today with that, and we're working on another big interview. You know, I know guys, people out there are talking about we're too 80s motivated on the fly, but yeah, guess what? We've got an interview with a great 80s band. I just did today, and hopefully another great 80s band coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we'll also have our list and stuff like that. We did start, and I was a little behind, and I'm sorry, there was a lot going on. We did start the Redskins, greatest Redskin bracket today, and we're getting really good response from that.
I
Yeah.
need to go vote. Wait a minute.
You haven't voted? I tagged you
Did you
in
tag?
I tagged you in every one of them. I'm looking right. Let me look on my
Joe
phone.
Theismann versus Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Brandon
Man, you
Sheriff
already have
all day.
102 votes on that one.
Yeah, let's get,
You have 102 votes on that one.
Yeah,
Sean
'cause-
Taylor, Brian Arapaho.
yeah, that was a blowout.
That's 100% zero.
That was a shutout earlier.
That's the only two I see.
Are you gonna have to? Because there's 32 of them. I want to put them all in.
Bobby Mitchell, Mike Bass, Ryan Kerrigan. Man, I hope I don't miss any. I'm trying to.
But all you have
Anyway,
to do,
people go vote. That's what I'm doing right as we
all you have to do is, if you're on Twitter, is go to the Final Score Twitter site, the profile, the Final Score. It's at the Final Score 73. You'll see all the options up there. Wow, Charlie Brown versus Chris Hamburger, and Charlie Brown is winning right now.
So it's really weird. The Joe Theismann one has so many more votes than the others.
I
But
know.
that's the first one I saw. So I think people are seeing one and then stopping.
No, I don't know I tagged Joe Theismann in it, so I don't know if a lot of Joe Theismann fans are seeing it and voting. I tagged Gary.
Oh, for all you Washington fans, John Riggins is now on Cameo. If you know what Cameo is.
Yeah. How much is that?
$250. So it is not happening. You have John
Perfect.
Riggins versus Alex Smith. And some idiots have voted Alex Smith over John Riggins. This poll is a joke.
Get this. Darryl Green versus Henry Ellard. And somebody had voted for Henry Ellard.
That's crazy. There's 32 of these I got to vote for?
32.
Man, it's hard.
Well, this
Some of these
is
are definitely. I'm not voting for Trent Williams just for spite. I met Joe Jacoby. Put him.
yeah.
Anyway, we're on a tangent. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm looking at Chris Cooley and Mark May are deadlocked right now. So any of you, Mark May or Chris
I
Cooley?
voted for Chris Cooley. All right, I think I voted for everybody.
Okay.
I don't think there was 32. I think there was only like 16.
No, there should be 32 because there's 64 matchups.
I
mean,
voted for all of them I could.
There's 64 players. I went through, believe me, I went through all of it today. When I do these brackets, the first round is the toughest because I've got to go through 32 matchups, and it's all that typing and stuff is killer, and it's killer on an old guy's back too.
Copy paste.
I do that
Copy-paste.
I do that for a couple of the things on there, but I can't for the players, doofus. I have to type that out eventually.
Okay.
All right. So next
All
week,
right.
NFC North, AFC East, and guys, let's see. It's not long now. We'll have football before long. Next week, I'll be
Thank goodness.
I'll be on vacation next week, but I'll be around the house. So it's going to be a couple of days. I might be gone somewhere, but I'll be around the house most of the week. Anyway, guys, you have a great week. Lynn, any last words?
See you next week.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week on the Final Score. You guys have a great week, and that's the final score.